Hello. I am a holistic housekeeping educator and a hearthcraft practitioner. And the more years that I do this work, the harder and harder it becomes to describe exactly what I do. So sometimes I just say that I sit with people while they clean out their closet and cry about their mom. The more official job description is that my work sits at the cross-section of mental health care support, neuro-affirming care, and grounded spirituality. So a lot of the people I support have ADHD, sensory processing needs, and we treat housekeeping as a mindfulness exercise. And many of the homes that I work in are full to the ceiling with things. These are the homes of humans that have been through cancer treatment, divorce, death, housing instability, sudden changes in health and ability, extraordinary hardships that cause housekeeping to be placed on the back burner for years. Also, ordinary hardships that occur through unavoidable life changes like aging, moving, having a baby. So we work together in these ordinary and extraordinary life hardships to reclaim their home from clutter and mess. And we do this from the ground up. So I often begin my group containers and workshops with a simple stream of consciousness writing prompt to help people understand the basic patterns in relating to their home. Write a letter to your home as if it were a person you are in a romantic relationship with. And no matter how many times I do this exercise with people, it never ceases to amaze me how deep and expansive this relationship can be. Our relationship to our home extends to how we feel in our family, how we feel about our upbringing, our neighborhood, community, society, nation, all the way out to how we feel about life on planet Earth itself, which is our ultimate home. It is a straight shot into home as the location of all of our earliest attachment material. So when people do this seemingly simple exercise, they often cry, and they often realize that their relationship with their home perfectly mirrors their other patterns in intimate bonds. So for me, the thing that comes up over and over again is fear of getting attached to my home because I have a history of housing instability. So part of me believes I can avoid that pain of losing my home again if I do not get attached or avoid investing. And some of the insights my clients have shared are things like, am I in an abusive relationship with my home? I feel like my home is out of my league. This is a situationship. We've been together for 20 years and it feels like the spark is gone. I'm in an ethically non-monogamous relationship with my home where I split time between my car, my boyfriend's place, my apartment, and being a digital nomad. This is a non-committal relationship. I'm always wondering if I should move. I love my home, but I often take it for granted. This was an arranged marriage. My parents gave this home to me. This is not my forever home, but I want to go all in while I'm here and maybe do some conscious uncoupling. Place-based identity is a fundamental aspect of our experience, but because many of us have a fractured and complicated relationship to home, this identity can feel emotionally fraught and alienating. It can bring up a lot of deep wounds around belonging, purpose, and meaning. It can evoke questions like, how do we fall in love with the place that we live? How do we renew love in our long-term relationships? How do we work through our resistance to love and attachment? And what if our home doesn't love us back? What if there is a fundamental incompatibility with the place that we live? Writing a letter to our home as if it were a person is rooted in animist sensibility, which is the idea that there is no such thing as an inanimate object and that all beings, whether alive or imbued with aliveness, have their own kind of spirit and personality. And this helps us feel more curious and connected to place, space, and belongings. We can apply the same relationship skills and frameworks to our home and place-based identity that we would use in intimacy with another person. So this can include popular frames like attachment theory and can include basic practices like showing daily appreciation, spending quality time with our home, engaging in shared activities, intentional consistent action, active listening, and vulnerability. Being in an open dialogue with our home has a lot to reveal to us about our grief and our longing. It provides a lower stakes relationship within which we can begin to understand what a healthy relationship even means, especially knowing that most of us do not have deep roots with the place that we live. To ask ourselves what the difference is between working on our relationships and actively investing in our relationships, and to develop the courage to invest in our home and form a strong attachment, even though we know all that we love we will lose. Understanding right relationship means teasing apart all the conditions that damage interconnection in the first place. So these are things like systemic conditions around lack of affordable housing, landlord trauma, housing discrimination, unsafe housing conditions, deeply personal conditions like growing up in chaos or growing up in a home with a couch that was wrapped in plastic, or being shamed for a mess but never being taught how to clean, housekeeping as a form of female oppression, political layers like the spectacle of the trad wife, labor exploitation, the intense moralization of prescribed family values, cultural level issues around death phobia, internalized consumer culture, hyper-individualism, and spiritual confusion around lifestyle achievements being upheld as the epitome of personal growth, or fixating on idealized notions of domestic bliss. It takes a lot to form a healthy attachment to our home under these conditions, and the practice of learning right relationship is well within reach. It's not fancy, and it's definitely not spiritually special, and most of us know how to do it already. We can do this by decluttering, deep cleaning, reorganizing, treating maintenance as mindfulness and responsibility, reframing chores as care, treating our home as a being in its own right, imbuing our home with moments and memories, treating our home as a sacred space rather than a storage unit, developing a connection with our community, asking how we can be a villager rather than endlessly lamenting about the loss of the village, and of course, courting the land spirits. Being in an open dialogue with our home needs assuring that this does not become a one-sided conversation that prevents us from remembering the relational imperative of our lives. In ancient Greece, Hestia, goddess of the hearth, was known as the first and last deity, but this does not reveal her status as the OG invisible housewife, so much as it reveals her universality and her primacy. There is a reason the metaphor for healing is homecoming. Thank you.